Good morning, everyone. Let me welcome you all to the APEC House here in Port Moresby, our nation's capital. Let me also bring our meeting to order, and I want to acknowledge, firstly, our chief guest and the co-host of this important meeting of the forum and meeting between India and the Pacific Island nations. His Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi, thank you very much for your presence here this morning. Thank you for flying all the way from your last meeting. Thank you for coming all the way from India and making this meeting possible in your presence. And I sincerely, on behalf of my sisters and brothers of the Pacific and the leadership team of the Pacific Island nations who are here, I do sincerely welcome you to our nation's capital, to Port Moresby, to Papua New Guinea, and to the Pacific. If I could ask your indulgence, as custom is to our Pacific, and as Papua New Guinea, as a Christian nation, I want to offer just a moment of prayer to God for us to open our meeting this morning. If I could all ask for a moment of silence, and as we come to God in a brief moment in prayer. Gracious Father in heaven, we thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for bringing Prime Minister Modi and all the leaders of Pacific one more time into Era Kone, and for us to sit in this dialogue as leaders chosen by you for this moment in time in Earth's history. As we go through these deliberations, may our people be in the forefront. May your wisdom prevail over us. May you give good health to all people we represent, and may you give good health to all our leaders in this conversation. For this, pray Jesus, we ask in your precious name. Amen. Prime Minister India and co-chair of this third Leaders Forum for the India-Pacific Island Cooperation. The Honourable Narendra Modi, thank you very much once again for coming. Let me also thank all my colleague leaders from the Pacific Forum nations, your delegations, and the entire team who have come to join us here in Port Moresby. I want to also acknowledge the Pacific Island Forum Secretary General and his team from our PIF Secretariat who are also here at present. I want to also acknowledge the presence of New Zealand Prime Minister in Port Moresby today, and later on will join most of you here. He's equally a member of the Pacific Island Forum nation, a member country, and we do acknowledge his presence in Papua New Guinea at the moment. On behalf of the people of this country, I take this opportunity to extend the warmest welcome to each and every one of you. If you have not been welcomed properly, please take this time. I have behind me my Deputy Prime Minister and senior ministers of our cabinet, giving the fullest appreciation to your presence in Papua New Guinea, and a warm welcome to each and every one of you. I also take this time once again to thank Prime Minister Modi. You initiated the FIPIC meeting and the dialogue in 2015. You chaired, and with Fiji's support, Fiji assisted you in the first meeting in Fiji. The second meeting was held in your country, and this is the third of similar meetings. We look forward to the dialogue between yourself, Prime Minister Modi, and all of us. Here on the table are leaders who lead their small nations in actually landmass and population, but more importantly, collectively, Mr. Prime Minister, they occupy some of the biggest spaces on the face of planet Earth. The combined space of Pacific put together, airspace and sea space, is 1/3 of the entire planet. In the planet, 1/3 is occupied by the oceans of Pacific. 1/3 is the space of Pacific. Our ocean, Mr. Prime Minister and the friend of Pacific, Prime Minister Modi, our ocean is a great carbon sink. Our ocean is a place of great trade and exchanges of trade. Our ocean and our airspace together facilitate trade, commerce, movement of people on planet Earth. Leaders meeting you today again for the third FIPIC are leaders of this great blue Pacific we call home, where our people have been traveling for thousands of years, just like your people have lived in India for thousands of years. We all come from a shared history of being colonized by colonial masters, history that holds the nations of Global South together, Mr. Prime Minister. Your compatriots sitting here in the Pacific Island are leaders of those who come from Global South. In the Global South, we have development challenges. Our resources are harvested by tons and volumes, and our people have been left behind in the Global South. You have emerged as the leader of the Global South, and I want to thank you for assuring me in our own bilateral meeting this morning that you will advocate, as you host G20 this year, you will advocate on issues that relate to the Global South. And I want to taking this moment in the presence of my sisters and brothers who lead the Pacific nation, ask you to offer the third big voice in the face of the Global North. The Global North have moved in the development space and into the industrialization space, and the small island nations and the Global South deserves a nation just like us who've come out from this to be a big presence at G20, at G7, to ensure that our issues are heard in total clarity. And I want to speak today as I welcome you to this FIPIC meeting, and before you address us, that the issues that are prevalent in Pacific are issues of insecurity due to climate change. Needless to remind all of us, but climate change in most instances is not an issue caused by the developing nations, especially the small island nations and small island communities, but your sisters and brothers of Pacific sitting here have people exposed to sea level rise, salination of the agricultural land, loss of land for the nation's security. These issues face us. We need a big third voice to be active for the small island nations at G20, at G7. We appreciate your presence with us at FIPIC. You are the voice that can offer our issues at the highest as advanced economies discuss on matters relating to economy, commerce, trade, and geopolitics. For us, we want this moment of the FIPIC platform for India to be the strong voice and advocate of the challenges we go through. Climate change was one issue I raised earlier. Second issue, Mr. Prime Minister, the threats of global politics and insecurity. For instance, the issue of Ukraine war with Russia, or Russia war with Ukraine rather. We import the inflation to our own small economies. These nations sitting before you, Mr. Prime Minister, have high cost of fuel and power tariff in their own countries. And we suffer as a result of big nations at play in terms of geopolitics and the power struggles out there. We ask you, using this moment where I am co-chairing, and I speak for my small brother and sister nations of the Pacific, whilst our land may be small and number may be small, our area and space in Pacific is big. The world uses it for trade, commerce, and movement. We are victims of global power play. We want you to be an advocate for us as you sit in those meetings and continue to fight for the rights of small emerging nations and emerging economies. Our leaders will have a moment to speak to you. I want you, Mr. Prime Minister, for you to spend time hearing them, and hopefully at the end of these dialogues, may India and Pacific relationship is entrenched and strengthened, but more importantly, the issues that are facing the Pacific Island nations, especially the smaller ones amongst us, are had in its right context and given support by you, the leader of the Global South. And I put to you as the leader of the third realm, the third group, the third block of nations that must emerge. Those are the emerging nations, and we will rally behind your leadership at global forums. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much, and I now hand over the mic to you.
Excellencies, a very warm welcome to all of you to this third FIPIC Summit. I'm pleased that Prime Minister James Marape is co-hosting this summit with me. I thank him and his team for all the arrangements done for the summit here at Port Moresby. Excellencies, this time we are meeting today after a long gap. And during this gap, this time, the world has been going through very difficult times like COVID-19 pandemic and several other challenges. These challenges have impacted the countries of the Global South the most. We already had several challenges related to climate change, natural calamities, hunger, poverty, and health. And now, new challenges have emerged. In the area of food, fuel, fertilizers, and pharma, we have seen obstacles have emerged in their supply chains. Those who we thought we could rely on, in fact, were not with us in our times of need. In this difficult time, the old saying proves to be true that a friend in need is a friend indeed. I'm glad that India stands shoulder to shoulder with its friends from the Pacific Islands in such challenging times. Whether it is vaccines and essential medicines made in India, or wheat or sugar made in India, India has been helping all of its friendly countries to the best of its ability. Excellencies, as I mentioned earlier also, for me, you are large ocean countries and not small island states. In fact, it is this very ocean of yours that connects India with you. In Indian philosophy, the entire world is viewed as one family. We say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is the inspiration behind our theme of the current year's G20 presidency, based on Vasudev Kutumbakam, and the theme is One Earth, One Family, One Future. In fact, this theme is also based on this very philosophy of the entire world being one family. This year, in January, we organized the Voice of Global South Summit. Representatives from your countries took part in it, and you shared your views. And for this, I thank you. India considers it its duty to convey the concerns, expectations, and the aspirations of the Global South to the entire world through the G20. Excellencies, in fact, this was my effort in the last 2 days also at the G7 Outreach Summit. His Excellency Mark Brown, who was also present there as a representative of the Pacific Island Forum, has been witness to it. Excellencies, India has set ambitious goals on the issues of climate change. I'm pleased that we are working on these expeditiously. Last year, along with the UN Secretary General, I launched Mission Life. When I say life, in my meaning, this life stands for Lifestyle for Environment. And this mission was launched. I urge all of you also to join this movement. India has also taken initiatives such as the International Solar Alliance and CDRI. I understand that most of your countries have joined the Solar Alliance. I'm confident that you will find the programs of CDRI also useful. I would like to take this opportunity to invite all of you to join these initiatives. Excellencies, while prioritizing food security, we have also kept in mind nutrition as well as protection of the environment. The year 2023 has been declared as the International Year of Millets by the United Nations. In India, this superfood has been accorded the status of Shri Anna, which means the best among all food grains. These require less water to grow and are packed with nutrition. I believe that millets can contribute greatly in ensuring sustainable food security for all your countries. Excellencies, India respects your priorities. India takes pride in being your development partner. Whether it is humanitarian aid or your development, you can depend upon India to be your reliable partner. You can trust India. The convention center at Palau, the waste management project at Nauru, seeds for cyclone-affected farmers, and the solar light project at Kiribati. All of these projects are based on this very approach. We are ready to share our capabilities and experiences with you without any hesitation whatsoever, whether it is digital technology or space technology, whether it is health security or food security. climate change, or environment protection. We are with you in every possible way. Excellencies, like you, we also believe in multilateralism. We support a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific. We respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all countries. The voice of the Global South also must be heard loud and clear in the Security Council of the United Nations. For this, reforms in international organizations must be our collective priority. In Hiroshima, I had discussions with Australia, the United States of America, and Japan at the Quad Summit. In this discussion, there is a special focus on the Indo-Pacific region. In the Quad meeting, we took a decision to install a radio access network, or RAN, at Palau. We will enhance our partnerships in plurilateral format with Pacific Island countries. Excellencies, I am pleased that in the University of South Pacific, the Sustainable Coastal and Ocean Research Institute, SCORI, has been established. This institute connects India's experiences in sustainable development with the vision of the Pacific Island countries. Along with research and development, it will also be helpful in addressing challenges of climate change. Today, it gives me immense pleasure to dedicate SCORI to the welfare, progress, and prosperity of the people of the 14 countries. Similarly, I'm also happy that a website is being launched to make use of space technology for national and human development. Through this, you will be able to download remote sensing data of your country from the Indian satellite network. You will be able to utilize this data in your respective development programs. Excellencies, now I'm eager to know your views. Once again, I thank all of you for participating in this summit today. Thank you.